For decades, Boeing was the crown jewel of American engineering, a company trusted with millions of lives in the sky. But after a fateful merger in 1997, profit eclipsed safety. The result? Over $60 billion lost, a reputation in ruins, and hundreds of lives cut short. This is not just the story of an aerospace giant. It is the story of how a celebrated pioneer became one of the most shocking corporate failures in modern history. Before its collapse, Boeing was the gold standard in aviation. Its name meant reliability, technical mastery, and an uncompromising commitment to safety. From the rollout of the 707 to the groundbreaking 747, Boeing's aircraft defined the jet age. Engineers, not accountants, held the final word on every decision. The company's unofficial creed was simple: if it's not safe, we don't ship it. Inside Boeing's Seattle headquarters, engineering excellence wasn't just encouraged, it was celebrated. Promotions went to those who solved problems, not those who shaved pennies. Line workers were empowered to halt production if they spotted flaws. Pilots praised Boeing jets as forgiving, predictable, designed to give crews every possible edge in a crisis. By the 1990s, Boeing's safety record was the envy of the industry. The FAA cited its quality systems as a model. Airlines logged millions of flight hours with vanishingly few accidents. When the 777 launched in 1995, it became the first twin-engine airliner certified for 180-minute overwater flights, a feat only possible with flawless engineering discipline. For decades, Boeing built more than airplanes. It built trust. It built loyalty. It built a reputation that seemed unbreakable. In 1997, Boeing merged with McDonnell Douglas. What followed was not just a corporate restructuring, it was a cultural coup. Executives from McDonnell Douglas, most notably Harry Stonecipher, brought a new playbook. Cost discipline and shareholder returns became the center of gravity. Stonecipher made his priorities clear. Boeing should be run like a business, not an engineering firm. The old ethos began to erode. Recognition shifted from technical achievement to financial performance. Experienced engineers left in droves, replaced by candidates with backgrounds in finance and project management. The most symbolic move came in 2001, when Boeing relocated its headquarters from Seattle to Chicago. The rationale was proximity to Wall Street and government decision-makers. For the engineers left behind, it was a clear signal. Decisions would now be made far from the factory floor. Metrics changed. Return on net assets, cost per plane, delivery schedules. These became the numbers that mattered. Quality assurance teams were trimmed. Outsourcing expanded. The Dreamliner program showcased this new philosophy. A global web of suppliers, just-in-time assembly, and oversight sacrificed for speed. Inside Boeing, raising safety concerns became a liability. Whistleblowers described an atmosphere where cost discipline replaced engineering discipline. The cultural foundations that had made Boeing a byword for safety began to crack. In 2011, Airbus unveiled the A320neo, promising airlines billions in fuel savings. Orders poured in, over 1,000 in less than a year. Boeing's largest customers threatened to defect. The board convened an emergency session. The solution was speed. Instead of designing a new aircraft, Boeing authorized a rapid upgrade of the 737. The directive was blunt. Match Airbus's fuel efficiency, keep costs low, and avoid pilot retraining by keeping the same type certificate. The result was the 737 MAX. Development became a race against the clock. Countdown timers tracked milestones. Engineers were told to find shortcuts. Larger engines were squeezed under the 737's low-slung wings, despite warnings about aerodynamic risks. Dissenting voices were sidelined. Suppliers were ordered to cut lead times. Program managers tracked delivery schedules on whiteboards, marking days lost to design debates. The pressure was relentless. The message from leadership was clear. The MAX had to hit the market fast, or Boeing would lose the future of short-haul aviation. Executives measured progress in days, not years. Sales teams promised airlines that the MAX would require little or no additional pilot training, giving Boeing an edge over Airbus in negotiations. Engineering reviews that once took months were now compressed into weeks. The message from the top was unmistakable. The future of Boeing depended on beating Airbus to market, whatever it took. Inside Boeing's engineering offices in 2012, the pressure drove a search for quick solutions. The new LEAP 1B engines, heavier and mounted further forward, altered the plane's handling. Flight test data revealed a tendency for the nose to pitch up at high angles of attack, a problem that could threaten certification and force costly retraining. Rather than redesign the airframe, Boeing's teams were directed to find a workaround. The answer was software. The Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. Designed to push the nose down automatically, MCAS was meant to make the MAX feel like its predecessor. But as development continued, its authority expanded. By 2015, MCAS could trigger in broader scenarios with more force, all while relying on a single angle of attack sensor. Engineers warned of the dangers of single-point failure. Emails and risk assessments documented concerns. Some recommended redundancy, 2 sensors instead of 1. But leadership rejected the idea. Extra wiring, testing, and certification hurdles would mean delays. Airbus was pulling ahead, and Boeing was unwilling to spend the time. By the time the FAA certified the MAX in 2017, MCAS was buried deep in the flight control logic. It was described as a minor software tweak. In reality, it was capable of moving the stabilizer far enough to overwhelm a pilot. On October 29, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 plunged into the Java Sea, killing 189 people. Less than 5 months later, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashed, killing 157. In total, 346 lives were lost. Families, aid workers, students, entire communities left to grieve. The world's faith in Boeing shattered in minutes. Investigations revealed MCAS had forced the nose down repeatedly, despite pilots' desperate attempts to regain control. Scrutiny turned to oversight. For years, Boeing had enjoyed a special arrangement called Organization Designation Authorization, or ODA, allowing it to certify its own designs with limited FAA intervention. Critics likened it to letting students grade their own exams. Congressional hearings revealed how Boeing's ODA unit signed off on MCAS with minimal external review. As the crisis deepened, CEO Dennis Muhlenberg was forced out in December 2019. Behind the scenes, Boeing had spent over $40 billion on stock buybacks between 2013 and 2019. Money that could have strengthened safety and quality. Whistleblowers spoke out. Ed Pearson, a former senior manager, documented skipped inspections and mounting defects as Boeing pushed to hit rate 52 to 52 jets a month. His warnings were brushed aside. Other insiders echoed the alarm. One leaked email read, "This airplane is designed by clowns who in turn are supervised by monkeys." The culture of silence didn't end with the MAX crisis. In January 2024, a 737 MAX 9 lost a door plug mid-flight over Portland. Investigators found 4 bolts meant to secure the panel had never been installed. The FAA froze Boeing's production increase. Airbus surged ahead, leading in orders and deliveries for a 3rd straight year. For many inside Boeing, the old rule, if it's not safe, we don't ship it, had been replaced by a dangerous new normal. Today, every Boeing aircraft carries the weight of public scrutiny and industry skepticism. The consequences of prioritizing profit over engineering still ripple across global aviation. Boeing's collapse is more than a corporate failure. It is a human tragedy. 346 lives lost in 2 crashes, families shattered, trust destroyed. The story of Boeing is a reminder that shortcuts in pursuit of profit can cost more than money. They can cost lives. Trust, once lost, is not easily rebuilt. And the future of flight now depends on whether accountability can outpace complacency. This is Business Failures. Subscribe for more stories of companies that rose with promise, fell with hubris, and left behind lessons the business world cannot afford to ignore.